Welcome to today's webinar, Pipe Networks Part 2. I am JT McMahon, an application engineer here at CAD Technology Center, and today we'll be talking about custom parameters. So what are custom parameters? What do we mean by that? Today we'll be looking more specifically at creating a custom parameter for a structure in Civil 3D, a pipe network structure. And the custom parameter being one of the options of the things that you can attach, a type of data that you can attach to the structure objects or pipe objects if you prefer. This same workflow, a very similar workflow, will also work for pipes. In fact, the first time I went to edit a parameter, I was doing so for pipes, and I was trying to add an SDR category in pipes that I could do by SDR 35 and 26 pipes and a label, and I wanted an extra parameter that didn't come out of the box. So I went through the process of learning how to do this, and I'm sharing that knowledge with you today. I'm going to point out and give a quick shout out to Seth Hall, who put together an article on beingcivil.typepad.com, which is an excellent resource for any of you out there listening to this. The beingcivil.typepad will have a lot of articles in it, and there is one specifically on this parameter adding that is indeed useful. So if that's something else that you want to utilize, head over there and check that out. Today we are going to first be looking at adding a parameter to an XML file, one of the ones that comes with Civil 3D. I'll be showing you where that is, at least where it is if you haven't changed the default locations, and I'll show you how to edit that, hopefully in a painless and quick type of way so that you don't break anything or get lost. Then we'll be looking at how those changes to that XML file affect Civil 3D. The first step of that will be to go into Part Builder. Again, I know it's not something that everyone here is comfortable with necessarily, but again, it'll be a fairly simple and painless process when it comes to the Part Builder aspect of what is required here. We'll get out of the Part Builder environment, we'll do a part catalog regen to make sure it kind of refreshes what we've just done. And then we're going to bring that structure into a parts list, and ultimately I'll show you how you'll be able to use that in a label, and would also be able to do so, use it in a table or anywhere else where you might be using parameters. Alright, so first thing, I'm going to show you here the location of the XML file that needs to be edited. And it's likely on your C drive, wherever your local drive is, Program Data, Autodesk, C3D, and then the year that you will be wanting to edit. So whatever year of Civil that you are currently using. If you're using multiple versions, you may need to edit multiple XML files, of course. So under the ENU folder, it's going to be Pipes Catalog and AECC Shared Content. It's very important that the XML file be in that exact AECC Shared Content folder. Don't move it from somewhere else. If you're trying to do a save as, keep it right here in this location. In fact, I really recommend just editing the one that's already there. We're just going to add a parameter to the current list. That's what you should do. I use Notepad++. I really like it. I get the pretty colors, which tells me if the syntax is correct. That way, if I fat finger something, I can catch my mistakes. So if you're using Notepad, or if you have some other tool that you like to open these with, feel free to use that instead. Okay, so I have targeted first a parameter that already exists that I would like to copy. So instead of kind of building it all out from scratch, I'm simply going to press enter here for a blank line and to highlight the structure cover parameter, do a Control-C, Control-V. It came in indented. I want to line that up just for my own sake. get that all clean looking. So now I have two identical parameters in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the first three pieces in this parameter, the name, description, and the context. For the name, I'm going to use Olympics, something themed around the current events today. The Olympics are going on currently in Brazil. For the description, I'm going to call it Olympic medal type. And the context will simply be medal type. And I'm going to need to use this context down below as well, and I already know that. And I'm going to point out that I leave the index, data type, usage, manage list, unit, visible, and internal. I'm going to leave all those true. There actually aren't any units, but I'm going to leave those to be just the way that they were from the structure cover, because the rest of my parameter is going to work very similarly to the way that the structure cover is working, and I know that. And that's why I picked out structure cover. So I'm not going to try to go through and edit a bunch of other things. If you wanted a parameter that worked differently than structure cover, then go ahead and try copying that one instead, renaming it, giving it a different description and context as you prefer. But that would be the process I would go about. Be first find, something like I want a parameter similar to this one with my own slight differences, and copy it. So about halfway through here, there's one other step. I'm going to scroll down. And so this was the AEC DF parameter. I'm going to scroll down and find the OPT param. And I've noted these out here. So structure cover, I found structure cover again. For consistency's sake, I'm going to go right below the structure cover. I'm going to paste in, so I did a Control-C earlier on my metal type, but I'm going to paste that in. Then I'm going to grab the rest of these syntax here from my structure cover and get it in there just the same. It looks like everything's now the same color. Again, in Notepad++, that helps me know that, or have confidence that I have that in there correctly. I haven't missed anything. It does indeed look correct. I'm going to save this file. Control-S, save. That red went to blue. And close out of this XML. And I'm going to launch Civil 3D. And once I get into Civil 3D, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be going into Part Builder. And once I am in Part Builder, I will be able to see this Olympics parameter that I just created in the XML file. That's the important piece. So go ahead and in the Create Design tab here, you'll find your Part Builder. Make sure that you have your catalog set to structure if it is indeed a structure that you're trying to edit. And I'm going to be editing the concentric cylindrical structure. It's the one that I probably use the most. It's probably the most common one, at least in my use of Civil 3D, so it'll be an excellent example for us today. Size parameters is the only place that we're going to need to interface here with Part Builder. So I know that Part Builder isn't, again, something that many of you are really familiar with or even comfortable with whatsoever. We're not going to have to touch the structure over here at all. We're not going to worry about the part configuration or modeling. All we're going to be looking at is the size parameters. Okay, so again, we're doing a parameter. That's all we have to worry about. I can click Add right away, or I can go under Edit Configuration, and on the Parameter Configuration tab, I'll have a new option here for a new parameter. You'll see here already my new parameter that I've added to that XML file, and it's Olympic medal type, it says here, just the way I described it. If I scroll over, you'll see Olympic medal type in the description and Olympics there in the name of this parameter. It's come in, so that's pretty neat that I'm already starting to see that it's, it's working, what I've done in that XML file. And instead of this being a constant, I'm going to want this to be a list, just kind of a different type. And once I've turned this to list, I'm going to go under Values and find my Olympics here, and I'm going to edit this list. I'm going to have 3 different options in my list. I'm going to click Add to get a couple others in there and click in these boxes to type in the different values that I want. For the metal types, of course, I'll be using gold, silver, and bronze. Alright, And that's it. So again, fairly painless, hopefully. Nothing too complicated when it comes to these. If I cared to, if you wanted to take it one step further, you could look at the part size name as well. That's another important category. You'd actually go under calculations for the part size name. You'll be able to find different parameters in here as well. So different variables that I could enter into the name of it. I'm going to leave that all out of the box and not edit that for our purposes today. I'm going to close out a part builder and save that, of course. Make sure you save your structure. Again, this is a real important step that a lot of people will miss. It's at least certainly one that's very easy to forget. Make sure that you do a part catalog regen as soon as you get back into Civil 3D. And I'm going to do S for structures, as you'll see down there in my command line, and escape. That's all I needed to do. So now it's re-looked at that structure, the cylindrical structure that I'm using, and I can add that into a parts list. So that's just what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go under my settings here in tool space. I'm going to find my pipe networks, and I'm actually going to create a new parts list by right-clicking on here and saying new parts list. We'll just call it testing for today. I'm going to quickly add a pipe. I'll right-click here and say part family. So if you haven't done this before, you have to add families to lists. I'm just going to grab concrete pipe here. And then once the family is added, the family needs sizes in it. And I'm just going to allow it to grab all of the different pipe diameters that it has. That's all out of the box. We haven't touched any of that, so they've all come in. Structures-wise, no structure is default. You can't get rid of it. But I want to have in this concrete cylindrical structure that I've just added. So I'm going to add in that family. When I right-click here and say Add Part, I have different metal types right here. So you can see it again, my Olympic metal type. And you'll see that I have my 3 values in here. And I'm going to want to bring all of those into one pipe. I'm just going to bring in the 48-inch diameter pipe with the 24-inch cone. I'm not going to worry about the rest of these parameters. I'm not really concerned with setting those up today. I'm simply worried about getting structures that can have gold, metal, and silver metal types. So there it is. I have my testing parts list, and now I'm really ready to go ahead and create a pipe network and see if I can get this into a label the way that I would like to see it. Okay, network name, we'll do Olympics, and I'm going to use my testing parts list. Okay, make sure I grab that structure. Not really worried about the pipe once again. And I'm going to add in here 3 different structures. I'm going to go ahead and do just an add label. I'm just going to modify this out-of-the-box label here. Or maybe I'll actually create a new one. That'll be probably the easiest way to do this. Metal type. And then in our contents here, I will be adding in our parameter. So one more place you'll be able to go find that parameter is going to be over here in the properties of the structure type here. I'm just looking for, there it is, Olympic metal type. Make sure you add that in to your contents field. So now we have our Olympic metal type. I'm going to click OK here, and one more time, and there it is. I'm going to add a couple more labels. It'll have my default in there, but I'll be able to do a match properties to get those to read the same. And there it is. So I have my 3 labels for my structures, and I can then assign different values to them in my structure properties, and I'll do that here in just a second. Once I get these labels placed the way that I want them. So in this structure, I can go under my structure properties. If I scroll down here a little ways, you'll see Olympic metal type. I'll set this one to silver, and I will set this one down to bronze. This guy came in 3rd place. Alright, so there it is. I have my parameter. I started off in the XML file. Things are a little bit hairy there. I wasn't really sure what I was doing. When I went to part builder, I still wasn't real comfortable. But hopefully you can follow the steps that I've gone through today and be able to successfully add parameters. If there's anything that you found that you've missing, you've always wanted to have your labels label things just a little bit differently, you wanted another category in there or whatever it were, I would say that first, if you want to go into Part Builder and look at the parameters, maybe it does exist, but it hasn't been attributed to that pipe or structure that you're using yet. There are ones out of the box that you could simply add. Otherwise, if you're not finding, even in that list what you're looking for, add your own. Customize it the way that you want it to be. This is one of the really nice ways that you can get the software to work for you, even if it wasn't, built for you when you first received the software. So you can do it all yourself. That's all I have for today. Thank you for attending. You can submit questions to the support at CAD Technology Center. Otherwise, at the bottom of this YouTube video, feel free to ask questions there. We do monitor our videos, so we will comment back with a solution.